Hi folks, this is Soapbox here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the T7 Mini Chaingun, a gun specially for the heavy assault, specific to the TR faction. The Mini Chaingun has access to 4 attachments. I'll list them here up front because I'll be referencing them in the rest of the video. It has access to the Ballistic Rapid Refire toggle. It lets the T7 Mini Chaingun have a faster spin time. I'll refer to this as the Rapid Refire toggle. Dark flashlight, extended magazines, and a laser sight. Starting out, let's take a look at the damage. The T7 Mini Chaingun has the standard 143 damage at 10 meters. It drops off to 112 damage out at 60 meters. This means that it's going to be a 7-shot kill at 10 meters, 8-shot kill up to 40 meters, and 9 shots beyond that range. It's worth noting here that headshots only get applied a 1.5 times damage multiplier, compared to the 2 times damage multiplier with most weapons. Due to this, plus the weapon's gameplay style, headshots are not really worth it with this weapon. On the talk of damage, this weapon also has a spin-up time. This means that it'll start out with a lower rate of fire, and it'll increase to the max rate of fire. Your default mini chaingun will spin to max speed in 5 seconds. With the rapid refire toggle attached, it will speed up to max speed in 2.5 seconds. The rate of fire is 800 rounds per minute, which is roughly 13.33 rounds per second. And with the rapid refire toggle attached, it's going to jump up to 845 rounds per minute, or 14 rounds per second. This weapon has 100 ammo in the magazine, and 300 in reserve, by default. Now this sounds like a lot, but this weapon will go through extremely fast, especially at a default of 800 rounds per minute. So extended mags will increase your magazine size to 200 ammo with another 200 in reserve. But if you equip the ammo belt, which each upgrade gives you an extra magazine up to 2 grades, even with the first upgrade you'll get an extra magazine, which is 200 bullets, which essentially doubles your reserve, which is extremely useful when you plan on using sustained fire, or if you're going to be somewhere where there's not a lot of NGs. The NG's ammo pack will store 50 rounds per tick, making engineers extremely useful for a mini chaingunner. The mini chaingun has a short reload of 4.39 seconds and a long reload of 5.39 seconds, which means even at a short reload, it puts you out of the fight for well over 4 seconds, which is a really long time. This is probably the biggest downside to the weapon, especially knowing that with the rate of fire for this gun, you can dump a whole entire magazine at 7.6 seconds, which means you'll probably end up spending more time reloading than you will shooting. If you choose to equip a Ballistic Rapid Refire toggle, you'll be able to dump a whole entire magazine in 7.1 seconds and 15.07 seconds with extended magazines. Thus you can see how extended magazines will allow you to shoot for much longer before having to take that awful reload. Now moving on to weapon accuracy. The T7 Mini Chaingun has a slight vertical recoil with slight iterations left and right. But it doesn't really matter because the weapon is not accurate anyways, or not meant to play that role. The thing that does define this weapon's accuracy is its cone of fire. The weapon has a stagnant cone of fire while aiming down sights. Although while firing from the hip, the cone of fire does expand, but very little, roughly to the size of the reload circle. Attaching a laser sight to your main chaingun will tighten its starting cone of fire by 50%. This is a significant difference to the starting cone of fire. The problem though is that this weapon is made for sustained fire, and the benefits of a smaller starting cone of fire is pointless. To maintain the smaller cone of fire, you would have to burst your weapon or continue aiming down sights to reset the hip fire. And bursting is pointless with a weapon with a spin-up time, and if you're constantly aiming down sights, then what's the point of hip firing? So at this point, I want to break down each of the attachments. Since we were just on the topic of cone of fire, I want to finish up talking about the laser sight. As we just talked about, the laser sight will dramatically decrease your starting cone of fire. The laser sight would be so much better if it lowered your maximum cone of fire also. But since it only decreases your starting cone of fire, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for this weapon. Next, this weapon has access to the dark flashlight, which is pretty much pointless on a weapon like this. So it's the last two attachments that I want to talk about and truly consider for this weapon. The first of which is extended magazines. As we touched on earlier, it'll add an extra 100 rounds to the magazine size. With the addition of an ammo belt, which grants you an extra 200 extra ammo per rank if you have the extended magazines equipped, it'll allow you to greatly extend the amount of time you can fight before getting ammo. This is extremely useful when you're somewhere where you don't have a lot of engineers around, or if you're running solo. Also, this attachment will allow you to sustain fire for much longer, which is terrific for holding down doorways and stairways, and a general deterrent. This attachment is most effective when you're in control of battle, where you can sit down and just fire away without having to worry about being snuck up behind or being out in the open. I would highly recommend this as the first upgrade you get for this weapon, unless you're more familiar with the weapon, because it only gives you benefits and doesn't give you any downsides. The second attachment is the Ballistic Refire toggle. This attachment will cause your mini chaingun to speed up faster and shoot slightly faster also. To be exact, it spins up 50% faster, 2.5 seconds compared to the normal 5 seconds, and it'll shoot 1.05 times faster, which is 845 rounds per minute compared to 800 rounds per minute. The advantages are extremely clear when you are playing a run and gun sort of style. The rapid refire toggle helps negate the long spin up and allows you to quickly reach your max speed. Also, faster shots means quicker kills. Overall, my opinion for this weapon is that it's fun, but it has limited scenarios where it will work. Not necessarily a go-to gun for every single scenario, and it also takes time to learn how properly to use. Another thing I was disappointed about with this gun is it doesn't excel in head-to-head fights. You really have to be able to pick your engagements to properly use this weapon. The biggest thing though that this weapon has going for it is the fear factor. It sounds absolutely terrifying, and it also has a terrific look when the barrel's spinning up that makes people much more afraid of it than they really should be. If this video was helpful or entertaining to you, feel free to give it a like or subscribe for more videos like it. And if you have any personal tips or experience with this weapon, let me know in the comments section below. This is Soapbox, signing off.